Well, welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe for all your detailing tips and how-tos. But in this video, it's a how not to, and it's an example of where stupidity and lack of experience, you can end up damaging your car through just being dumb. When it happens, as much as we all want to think we're all brilliant, when you do something dumb, best way to do is just say, I've done something dumb. So what did I do? So I bought a new roller kit because I had some success with like rolling out leather with like a little brass bar to like take out creases and using a hairdryer to just warm the leather when I rolled it. And I bought this little bookbinding roller, which is okay, it's good. So you can roll over the leather with it and flatten it. And I bought a heat gun as well because I've always needed one. I've always tended to use a hairdryer. So what I wanted to do is just do a little demo on my Porsche because the dashboard's all leather and there's loads of little leather in it with little sort of mild gouges that aren't damaged through the paint system, where you can just warm them up a bit and just sort of gently persuade them back to a nicer surface. You know, you got to be careful. So you don't want to overheat the leather and then like you can put a flat mark in it almost, because it is still a painted system. But if you warm it carefully and roll it, you can have a bit of success. So I was doing a video on this and like, you know, it was all going swimmingly well. And I was sitting in the seat of my Porsche, rolling and filming and using this. And I put this heat gun, after I just warmed a section, I just had it down here, like sort of like almost on my belly, and then I was rolling and I leaned across and I was rolling a part of the dashboard, and then the next thing I could smell something and I looked down and the hot metal tip of this gun hit the fabric of the seat of my car and instantly melted it. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh no, because there's no fixing this, and they're Recaro pole positions. So I've melted the seat, and yeah, I was just like, oh no, it's not the end of the world, but it's another job, and I've already got other jobs that I've got on the list of jobs to do on that car, and I've got another car with a list of jobs, and all jobs cost a fortune. So I thought when I'd done this, I'll contact Recaro, and Recaro can provide replacement cushions, but you have to buy them in two. So they come as a joint piece, the base seat, and then another piece here, sort of linked together. My one has 3 cushions for some reason. So if I bought a replacement for this, I'd have to buy a replacement for the driver's side as well, which I was prepared to do. And they're £110 plus VAT. So what's that? 20%, another 20 quid. It's about 135 quid each. So I'd be in for like 270 quid to replace both bottoms of my Recaro seats. And luckily the parts were out of stock, so I didn't buy them. And you know, I'd have waited for them to come into stock. Today, Danny had to go down to Trim Deluxe, Joe the trimmer in Littlehampton. He's been on the channel before when we did the golf restoration video with Wax's Dead Fresh Layers, and he sorted the seats out for us and put new foam in it and all that sort of stuff. Danny said to me, take that cushion down and show Joe the cushion. And I didn't think there was any point giving it to a trimmer, because I thought, well, you can get this fabric from Recaro and it costs like 170 quid plus VAT for a roll. So it was cheaper virtually to just get 2 new seats than buy that roll and get them retrimmed. But anyway, I thought, yeah, I will just take it down to Joe. He might have something, but I'd want them to be exact. Anyway, so we go down to Trim Deluxe and Danny's talking to Joe about the cards. His door cards, it's got to get re-skimmed. And I've showed Joe the seat and he's like, what's that from? Pole position. And he's like, I've got one. So he's got one because he's done so much of this. He had a second-hand seat there. He's charged me 30 quid for it, which is nothing. And it's exactly the same fabric. It's exactly the same size. And because it's the same and it's not brand new, it also, when I put it in my car, it's not going to stick out as being brand new and all the rest of them look a little bit old. So basically, from complete disaster, of having to redo this, I am now fixed. And that is identical. You'd never know. You'd never know. It's done. I will vacuum them all out at some point. So the moral to this story, forgive the poor audio, it's going to be windy, is one, the moral to this story is I now need to be very careful whenever I'm using this, and I might even just use a hairdryer to warm the leather because there's less risk, because that gets red hot. There's nothing wrong with this heat gun. It's a good little cheap heat gun. It's great. But you just, obviously this is going to get hot, glowing hot. So you need to be careful with it. And I just didn't have the experience, and trying to do too many things at once too quickly and do something that required 3 hands because you've got to hold the camera at the same time. When you just rush around and you just don't know what you're doing, that's when little stupid things like that can happen. There's just no fixing that because it's even melted the colour back. You know, you can't fix that. You could sew a little round badge over it or something. That'd be your only option. So yeah, the moral to this story is I need to be really careful now when I'm using that heat gun. I have used it subsequently to do this job on another piece of leather. It was a piece of leather out of a door card for Dan's car, and it was fine. Yeah, but it was easier. So yeah, I've learned, be careful when you're using this heat gun, and maybe if you're doing it in the cockpit, use a hairdryer because it can never get it roasting hot and you're never going to burn anything. And the second thing is, like your local businesses that can always kind of, with expertise, because Joe also said he probably has this fabric as well kicking around. Because you want the exact fabric, don't you? If you didn't have the exact fabric or the exact right thing, the worry is you'd have to do the whole lot. And then when you have to do the whole lot of anything, it becomes expensive. If I had to buy all the seats, it becomes expensive. If I had to retrim the whole lot. But it was almost like fate that he had the exact thing. And I looked on eBay, I looked on everywhere to see, well, eBay's the only place, if there was a second-hand one out there. It was just fate. Yeah, I've got one of those, John. Oh, brilliant. So I've gone from that really, when I'd melted that ruined me, that did. And the fact I've actually got a result and fixed it relatively, well, very trouble-free, that's one less job on my list of things to do for my Porsche, which is really cool. So today I feel like I'm winning, and that doesn't happen very often. So I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. Like I say, have a good laugh, because you can do stupid things when you're messing around on cars, especially mechanical things. It's even easier to break stuff when you're dismantling cars. You snap things, break things, buttons break. When you're detailing cars, you're clambering in and out of them, you're working around them with equipment, and things can go wrong. Maybe that would be a really interesting video on the #1 things that can go wrong and will damage your car when you're detailing it. And it's always silly, stupid things. I could tell you now, the thing I used to do wrong was when I had an upright pressure washer, you know, and I would position the pressure washer too close to the car, and you risk, when you then pull the lead out and you're working away from the machine, of it toppling over and whacking the machine. So, you know, after you've done that mistake, you put the machine somewhere, you extend the lead right out, and you if you can remember to do this, then you work towards your pressure washer so you can never tumble it. But if it does tumble, you want to make sure it's not going to hit the car. You also want to be careful with those quick release nozzles and snow foam lances not being in those quick release guns, because you can fire them at your car. That's another thing that can happen. So again, I don't know if I remember it to do it all the time, but when I put a nozzle in, I'll just fire the thing at the ground to make sure it doesn't fire off. But can you always remember to do it? You know, you put an extension arm in, you can fire the lance out of your car sometimes. So it's always going to be something stupid, and it's going to be, you know, the lance fell on my car when I was doing a video because they used to topple over. It was stupid to not realise that. But now the lances don't do that, and I'm just careful about not putting a lance on a cabinet where it could fall onto the car. So yeah, it's all those sort of things that I've learned over the years, and it's learning through mistakes. I've learned you need to be careful kneeling on those on any seat, whether it's fabric or leather, because especially when you're heavy, you know, I used to be 20 stone. Even now, you put all your weight on one knee on there and you push in. Sometimes you can stretch the leather and you see all that saggy leather in cars. That's from where people clamber on it. You can also, when you're getting in and out of the cars, and some cars, and you put weight here, you can end up ripping these parts out. So there's lots of little things you can do when you're contacting cars that can damage them. Just a couple of examples, might make an interesting video. Thanks for watching. Yes, this one is just, you know, a celebration of stupidity. Because if you look at this channel and you think, wow, that forensics detailing channel guy, he's really good at all this. No, I make loads of mistakes. There's nothing I do that's particularly clever, and I'm not particularly skillful. I try and do a good job, but I still mess things up all the time. All the time. Sometimes I do things and it goes really well and I'm happy, but if it's something I haven't done before, or it's something I'm not very good at, it goes wrong. Example the other day, clear coating headlights, because the humidity was so high and it's so moist, it messed up the lacquer. Lack of experience, stupidity, whatever you want to call it, it's there in abundance with me, and it probably is with most people. Yeah, it's just things. When you do something, the same thing all of the time, you learn all these things, and then you become an expert in one thing. The problem is I'm trying to do too many things that I don't have expertise in, and I'm learning as I do it. So yeah, there's loads of things I'm bloody useless at. That's the summary. We all are, but some perhaps slightly less useless than others. I'm sure lots of you exceed my levels of, yeah, you exceed my levels and you do stuff better than me, but there'll be a few of you out there that are even worse. That's one thing that's for sure. Put in the comments what's the worst mistake you've ever done on your car. Take care. See you soon.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I when you went home?